This is a challenge. People keep coming up to me in the street. The first thing they say is, have you had doubles yet? Did you get a doubles yet? So I'm eating doubles, all right?
Doubles are a Caribbean take on the Indian chana bhatura. 2 floppy, tender pieces of soft Indian-style bread loaded with a wet heap of curried chickpeas, pepper sauce, and mango.
Structurally, I have questions here. I don't want seepage. Seepage is never good. If someone uses seepage in a sentence, nothing good is going to happen. I'm going to suck the paper. I don't think there's meat in here. And I still like it. It's really, really good.
A half-century after Trinidad became independent of the British Empire, there are surprisingly few architectural remnants. But the face of the country and its population were forever changed when slavery ended in 1834, and Great Britain found itself in need of cheap, if not free, labor to work the plantations. They found it in East India.
At the abolition of slavery, the plantation owners desperately needed to find labor to fill the void created by the slaves who turned their backs on the plantation for obvious reasons. And they looked around, they tried Portuguese, they tried Chinese, they tried many communities until they found out that the Indians were the best suited because they were already planting sugarcane in India successfully.
Between the end of outright slavery and the beginning of World War I, 150,000 indentured servants were brought here from India. Indentured servitude is slavery by another name. The people brought here from India were bought, sold, and treated like property. But we're told that if they completed 5 years of often back-breaking labor, they would be set free. Noon on a Monday, ordinarily a work day, but today the Singh family is having a boys' river wine. Chand, the patriarch, is a retired diplomat. His son, Keshav, is a music producer. Uncle Charlie is in charge of the cooking.
How far back did the family go?
This family has gone back to 1845.
1845. Those were hard times. Life was not good for the family in India.
There was poverty, there was wars and all sorts of things. And yes, they came into real hard times here because the indentured immigrant from India replaced the liberated slaves, and the conditions were not very different.
Difficult times, but it was a means to social mobility and away from their situation in India.
We are products, descendants of that generation.
Start with 1 whole duck, hack into pieces, rub with lime juice, season with hot peppers, garlic, and the tropical herb shadow beni. Add generous helpings of masala and curry powder. Marinate for a bit, then sear in oil, then simmer in coconut milk until tender.
Man, that's good. That's really good. We better kill some more ducks, because that is...
When we have it like this, when we're drinking before the actual meal, it's like an appetizer, but we call it cutters because it cuts the alcohol.
Right, I'm sobering up as we speak. So, look, you're all Trinidadian.
Yeah.
Trinidad first, Indian second.
Yes, I mean, when the Indians came, 160-something years ago, there was a disconnect with the motherland.
Most of these Indians were promised that they were going for a short tenure to make a lot of money and then return home.
They gave return passage or land.
So when the first Indians took the option to go back, couldn't find their families.
Right.
And those who found their families were rejected because they said, you guys abandoned us for 5 years.
Wow.
You may as well take that 5 acres of land and stay there. So there's no closure to descendants like us who have not found any connection between our families in India.
Soft paratha dough is cooked on a massive tawa and slathered with ghee. But here, just as it's reaching peak flakiness, it gets a beating.
Here they call it bust-up shot, which means burst-up shirt.
Burst-up shirt.
Because they make a huge paratha and then they whack it with 2 sticks.
Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about what's going to happen to my shirt. What about skin color? Look, you look at Jamaica, you look at Haiti. I don't get what they say, but what they do is it's still a powerful determinant of where your status is in the power structure.
Yeah.
Does that exist here?
It's not something that has consumed our imagination. Being Trinidadian is not necessarily color tone oriented, but it's more, and I think what people really revel and enjoy is the common experiences. The food is the glue that binds a society together.
In spite of the problem that we have here, we are still one of the most harmonious, multi-ethnic societies in the world. And the multi-ethnicity of Trinidad and Tobago, multi-religious tolerance, are examples for the role to follow. We are a small island, and if you don't learn to live together, you have to live in the sea. We have to.
All right.
Why? Trinidad is nice. Trinidad is a paradise. Trinidad is nice. Trinidad is a paradise. Now, ding, 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 la, 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 la.
My theory was always the whole world was going to look like Trinidad in 100 years. Anyway.
Great world.
Well, I think so. Cheers to that.
Cheers, cheers.
Respect.
Trinidad is nice. Trinidad is a paradise. Why Trinidad is nice? Trinidad is a paradise. Thank you.
It started in 1898, more than 100 years ago. Most of the Christians were being persecuted by the Turks. So there was an exodus of Christians leaving Syria. They boarded the ships from Beirut, and as long as it was heading west, they thought they were going to America. Many of our parents landed in Trinidad, and that's when we started. That's the first generation.
Just outside of Port of Spain, Bayshore is one of the priciest neighborhoods in the country. I'm here as a guest of the Sabga Abouds, a successful family of Lebanese-Syrians.
Look, isn't this amazing?
Beirut.
Yes, like no arak.
I do indeed.
Would you like arak?
A little ice and some water would
Oh,
be
that'd be perfect. My drink of choice is Grey Goose and coconut water.
The family's story is not an uncommon one. The first members came here during the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, arriving penniless. They worked their way up as textile merchants and branched out to run businesses that sell everything from medical equipment to real estate.
And how large is the community now in Trinidad?
A little under 5,000.
That's still a fairly small percentage of the...
Extremely small. Actually, we are the smallest ethnic group in Trinidad.
But the most powerful, almost the most powerful. Smallest but most powerful, huh?
That's not bragging. Syrian-Lebanese merchant class are generally seen as the elite.
Actually, I'm very big in the food business here. I have 120 restaurants. Call me the Starbucks of the Caribbean.
I can't tell you how happy I am about this meal. I love the food.
This is raw kibbe.
Best raw kibbe you'll ever eat in your life.
Yeah, this is the fried version, which is stuffed with the nice stuffing. And then we have the typical hummus. This is muhamra, which is made from chili paste and ground nuts, the best muhamra in Trinidad. Then we have falafel patties. We have grilled wings with garlic, which is every Arab loves. Fish in tahini sauce. You ever had that?
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm gonna pour some olive oil over our lovely things, because olive oil is a must.
I mean, and how closely do people stay in contact with family or relatives back in Lebanon or Syria? If at all.
Not very much.
We are Trinidadians too. As much as we are Lebanese and Syrian, we are Trinidadians. Trinidad has been good to us, and we know it.
But life is good here in Trinidad. Life is very good. But there is a measure of concern in the fact that at one time we used to have a huge middle class. which was a sort of a security in terms of any possible conflict between the haves and the have-not. But now that's eroding, and they're getting poorer. So they're starting to get angry.
What do you think the biggest danger is right now?
Civil commotion.
Civil commotion.
Yeah. We have a crime problem related to gangs, gang warfare.
Gang warfare.
It ain't all good for everybody here by a long shot. Trinidad, with a population of only 1.3 million people, had 460 murders last year, giving Port of Spain a per capita murder rate higher than Detroit, Oakland, or Chicago. Mark Besant covers the subjects of drug and gang-related violence as an investigative journalist.
People want you dead.
You could say that.
Who wants you dead, do you think?
Well, 2 years ago, I did a piece about the state prosecutor, Dana Sital, who was shot dead.
When State Prosecutor Dana Sital left the Mapao car park just before midnight on May 3rd, she had no inclination it would be her last moments alive.
When Mark began to look into the murder of the prosecutor, an informant told him there was a $20,000 contract on his life.
They had people following me over a period of time, some law enforcement officers and so on. So my company put me on a plane. I stayed under an assumed name for about 3 months in a location outside of Trinidad.
Generally speaking, when people like that want you dead, they get you. Why are you back?
I guess, to quote from a great US journalist, Walter Cronkite, it's not what you want people to know, it's what they need to know. We need to have people held accountable for certain things. With drug trafficking being one of the biggest businesses in the world, Trinidad continues to be a major transshipment point for drug dealers to get that product out to North America and to Europe. So you find now the explosion of violence that we have is for those that are involved locally with the drug trafficking, this fight for territory.
An estimated $3.5 billion worth of narcotics move through the Caribbean each year. Trinidad's porous borders, busy port, proximity to Venezuela, and the inevitable corruption that comes with numbers and threats like that make it, unfortunately, an ideal transshipment point.
How bad is high-level corruption alleged to be?
Fairly deep. I think that the complicity comes across the law enforcement agencies, customs, police officers, even at higher levels.
And with corruption, poverty, hopelessness, add some radical ideology to that, and Trinidad has proved relatively fertile ground for the recruitment of ISIS fighters and terrorists.
It's quite alarming, Trinidadian nationals being one of the highest in the region, going to Syria. And it's over 100 on a list, an FBI list. They feel that it's the calling from ISIS that they need to go.
So what's the future look like? What do you think? How's it gonna go?
Wow, that's a loaded question. There are really good people here in Trinidad. There are really, really good people that can make a difference on all fronts. If we go down the path that we're going down, they will be all bad.
하나님 아버지 은혜를 감사합니다. 우리 어르신들 귀한 점심 식당을 대하게 하시고 또 즐거운 시간 갖게 하심을 감사합니다. 어르신들 건강하고 행복하게 사시도록 하나님께서 지켜주시고 봉사자들에게 기쁨으로 봉사할 수 있도록 건강도 주시고 즐거운 마음도 주시옵소서. 감사드리며 예수 그리스도의 이름으로 축복하며 기도드리옵나이다. 아멘.
Get lost in Flushing for a while and behold the awesomeness. you're looking for amazing Chinese food or Korean, just like home, well, Flushing is the place. This joint is high on the list, Gu Shigi.
Cheers.
Not that.
Josh Smookler and Cosme Aguilar are both chefs and restaurateurs operating in Queens. Josh, a Korean man who was adopted and raised by a Jewish family, owns the wildly popular Long Island City restaurant, Moo Ramen.
Did it take off right away? It was successful right away?
Yes, pretty much immediately. You know, I was cooking out of my house. Then we're transporting all to this bagel shop. We served from 7 o'clock to 9:30, 10 seats at a time. It was me in the kitchen, my wife out in the front. And one day somebody texted me and goes, "Congratulations." I go, "For what?" They go, "Pete Rolls just gave you #1 ramen in New York City."
So New York Times loves you.
Yeah, and I saw the article and I started crying.
Cosme is the owner of Casa Enrique, also in Long Island City. It's the only Mexican restaurant in New York with a Michelin star.
You didn't even do the smart thing. The smart thing, of course, would be to make shitty Mexican food because we know that Americans will always buy shitty Mexican food. You started making like really sophisticated, really interesting Mexican food. Well, why?
My brother come up with the idea to open a Mexican restaurant. And I told my brother, come on, I never cook Mexican food like for a restaurant. So I started cooking for 6 months at home every single day, trying to do different things. And finally we opened a Mexican restaurant.
And then you got a Michelin star.
Yeah, for 3 years in a row.
Nice. Both are fantastic, but tonight we're eating Korean. Gamjatang, pork neck bone soup with rice cakes, pork belly, kimchi, and spicy radish. And kimchi and oysters.
So this dish right here, the gamjatang, was the dish I had about like 3 years ago. It literally transplanted me back to Korea.
Yeah, but how old were you when you left?
When I came to America, I was 6.
Were you raised observant Jew?
Orthodox, yes.
You were raised Orthodox. You still with the program?
No, not at all. I'm eating pork right now.
Man, that's tough. I mean, because Koreans are pork crazy.
Korean food, I didn't have much of it growing up at all. In fact, kimchi was like shunned from our household because it stunk up the whole house.
Well, it's just not kosher, too.
And it's not kosher either, so they...
Put the shellfish in there.
Yeah, but now I still make Korean-style ramen. And then I have a matzo ball ramen. Being raised Jewish, can't help it. I think as cooks, we always gravitate to what our DNA is.
So what are you opening a Korean restaurant?
I don't know anything about Korean food. I just know I like it. I gravitate towards those flavors.
Galbi, short ribs marinated in soy, garlic, and sesame oil, then grilled. Meat candy.
You ever investigate other neighborhoods? The number of immigrants from all over the world, I mean, is extraordinary.
The funny thing now is I have Caucasians working the line.
Yeah.
And then the Asians come in, they go, "Oh, this isn't good. You got a bunch of white guys." I'm like, what?
I'm racist like that, too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm totally like that. If I walk into a sushi restaurant, I make racist assumptions about the place if they're not Japanese.
Do you do the same thing when you go to a restaurant and you see, like, let's say a Korean restaurant, and if you only see white people, then what do you think? It's not legit?
Eating at the Korean restaurant?
Yeah.
You want the truth?
Of course I want the truth.
Now for Metro Christian Center.
Some people say it's the most famous place you've never heard of. That's where we are. But when you start getting out to the detail of it, this is historic Neir's Tavern.
Back in the 1820s, when Queens was still mostly farmland and livestock rather than the 7 train was what rumbled down what became Jamaica Avenue, the manager of a racetrack called the Union Course opened a nearby tavern to accommodate the gamblers and layabouts who frequented his track. It was called the Blue Pump Room. In later iterations, it became the Old Abbey, the Union Course Tavern, and finally, Neir's Tavern. The Neir family, German emigres, added a bowling alley, a ballroom, and a hotel after the racetrack closed in 1898 and renamed the place Neir's Social Hall. Today it's owned by this man, Lieutenant Loy Gordon of the FDNY.
You were born in Jamaica?
It's a funny thing, I'm from the island of Jamaica and I moved to Jamaica, Queens.
Why Jamaica, Queens?
Well, my mom was here.
What did your mom do for a living? What kind of work was she doing?
You know, she didn't have all the education in the world, so you just had to do odds and ends. You had to clean floors and just do whatever she had to do to get things going. I think it's pretty much the similar story of immigrants that come to the United States. They come and work hard because it's the land of opportunity, and they find a way to kind of make it out of the rut.
Yeah.
Or at least using that platform to have someone like me, like their offspring, become a little bit more, right, than they were.
Ordinarily, the story is I'm a regular beer drinker at this joint, and the thought of it disappearing is like unbearable to me. Where am I going to drink now? But you're not that. That's not your story.
I knew that this place was important, you know? I just felt something special. And being someone that's from Queens, something that's special like this, it shouldn't disappear. It was 3 days from closing down when I walked into the place.
Wow.
The way it's located, someone has to tell you about Neir's Tavern. Someone has to say, you know, it's around the corner, to the left, to the right. And if someone tells you about it, I think they think you're worthy enough to discover such a historic, you know, cool little place.
Now, it's historic for a lot of reasons, not least, in my mind, because the greatest American film ever made was shot here. A lot of it was shot here, right? I mean, it was
about 15%.
Okay, so what was shot? Which scenes were shot here?
It was a very pivotal moment of the movie.
Okay, so that's the moment.
Said,
Let me remember him. Is he right there or is he right here? He's right here.
Yeah.
He just looks over at Maury, and you know he's decided Maury's going.
If Maury's going, might as well just knock everybody else.
Maury was a problem from the beginning. I think any reasonable businessman would have. You know, here's a question. It has nothing to do with anything. You're working for the mob, and you've been having some disagreements with your business partners. Why would you ever get in the front passenger seat when somebody else is sitting in the back? I mean, Paulie made the same mistake in The Godfather. It's always like, you know, that's a bad seat to sit in.
Yeah.